So Facebook recently updated their guidelines for the usage of music across their platforms. They take effect October 1st. Bands, artists, and music fans have been freaking out. So yesterday they quietly released some updates to go over a few details and clear up some confusion. Hey everybody, Mike here from HeyLangford.com and DearBands. I posted a video a couple days ago talking about the new music guidelines Facebook recently released. Response has been great. Thanks to everyone for the comments, the likes, and the shares. I've seen Facebook explode recently, especially my feed. There's a lot of musicians, creators, writers, music fans, people sharing the original set of guidelines. It's short, it's like 5 or 6 paragraphs long. The main concern musicians and fans had was the inclusion of music during the artist's live streams. It's been a big part of a lot of music fans' Facebook news feeds for the last 4 or 5 months. So the idea that that might be going away is not exactly well received by the music community on Facebook. I'll leave a link to the latest updates in the description below. A couple parts that I wanted to go over. We don't really know what's been updated, but you can see the latest updates happened yesterday, that being September 11th. My guess was this was in response to everyone freaking out on Facebook. Once I saw websites like Loudwire taking notice, I knew they were probably in trouble. It's a quick read. I recommend all musicians and artists to read over this. A couple of key sections I wanted to point out. Music is a bonding force in normal times. During difficult and isolating times like this, we know it can be even more important. As social distancing has forced everyone to stay apart, more people have turned to Instagram and Facebook Live to stay connected with their communities. This rapid rise in usage has created a lot of good during this crisis, raising money for frontline workers and underserved communities, driving awareness of healthy habits, encouraging people to stay safe by staying home, and bringing people together through new forms of entertainment. But it's also highlighted some confusion across the community, especially around the use of recorded music and live on both Facebook and Instagram. I didn't really want to read that entire paragraph, but it didn't really make sense just jumping in somewhere. So as we continue building for the long term, we're sharing guidelines and product improvements around music in Instagram and Facebook videos and live streams. I think these next 2 sentences are what the actual concerns are with including music on platforms like Facebook. We want to encourage musical expression on our platforms while also ensuring that we uphold our agreements with rights holders. These agreements help protect the artists, songwriters, and partners who are the cornerstone of the music community. Again, we talked about it the last video. There are owners, there are creators, there are rights holders to this music being used on the platform. Facebook's just a platform to host it, share it, and broadcast it. That doesn't mean anyone just has the right to broadcast anything. And again, Facebook doesn't know who the original owners are of these things. It's up to the copyright owners, it's up to the publishers to kind of figure that information out. It's proving a little more difficult than I thought, trying to not simply just read the article, but our partnerships with rights holders have brought people together around music on our platforms. As part of the licensing agreement, there are limitations around the amount of recorded music that can be included in live broadcasts or videos. While the specifics of our licensing agreements are confidential, today we're sharing some general guidelines to help you plan your videos better. Music and stories in traditional live music performances, example filming an artist or band performing live, are permitted. So this is good for us musicians and artists that want to live stream our performances. The greater the number of full-length recorded tracks in a video, the more likely it may be limited. More below on what we mean by limited. So this could be more related to some of the concerns the DJ community had with performing music over a static image. Shorter clips of music are recommended. There should always be a visual component to your video. Recorded audio should not be the primary purpose of the video. With that last point, I am curious to see where they draw the line. Visualizer videos have been pretty popular last year. It's a pretty cost-effective way of adding a visual element to your music video without having to spend a lot of time actually figuring out what the visuals are going to be for your video. To a lesser extent, this also includes lyric videos. I'm curious to see if they count that as a visual component with audio added to it or an audio component with visual added to it. The next section deals with what might happen if Facebook feels like some of the music being used falls outside their terms of usage. I mentioned I've been streaming some gaming content the last couple of years, specifically hockey. Some of the songs, because they belong to artists, they get flagged, so my stream basically gets muted during those songs. Yep, it sucks. We know it can be frustrating to have a stream interrupted or to have parts of your video muted because it includes music. And what's worse is you don't know it's happening when it's happening. To minimize these interruptions and to prevent confusion around audio use, we're also improving our in-product notifications. These notifications are intended to alert you when our systems detect that your broadcast or uploaded video may include music in a way that doesn't adhere to our licensing agreements. Updates include making notifications clearer and surfacing notifications earlier to live broadcasters. This will give people time to adjust their streams and avoid interruptions if we detect they may be approaching our limitations. And if your video is muted or blocked, we'll make it clear what actions you can take to stop the interruption. Now, with all the freaking out music fans, bands, artists have been doing on Facebook recently about these new music guidelines, I think that section there says the most. If Facebook does have concerns with the music you're using on your live stream or your performance, at least Facebook now will tell you what to do to fix it. The issue we've had so far is Facebook just mutes it and you don't really know what was wrong. All we know is that there was a copyright strike, there was an issue, Facebook just muted it, and that was that. Again, I highly recommend bands and artists read through these guidelines. I don't think they want to change that much now that I read through these guidelines compared to the last set of guidelines that were posted. Bigger picture, again, if I'm a band or an artist and I'm planning on live streaming music performances, I would be looking to move that content off of Facebook onto a platform like YouTube. Again, there's several other reasons why I think YouTube's a better platform for it. I mean, it's one thing to have someone like your Facebook page, it's another thing to have them subscribe to your YouTube channel. In short, I think we'll be okay. I think the transition past October 1st will be pretty smooth, and I think it's just Facebook trying to cover their own back end. Anyways, these are the new updates to the Facebook Music Guideline updates. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these updates to the updates. Again, I'm Mike from HeyLangford.com and DearBands. Thanks for watching.